Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, today we're talking about something that I think is incredibly important. Unless you're living under a rock, especially if you're somebody who's in the real estate business, we have seen a dramatic shift in the market since our last first time buyer market update. Now, the question is it back to school or is this back to affordability? Let's answer that question together. Let's get started. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. And this is our Southern California first time buyer market update. And as I mentioned, we have a very important question to ask. And this is an incredibly unique time of year. And the biggest reason why that is that we have a confluence of events. So that's multiple things happening that are possibly having a profound effect on the housing market. Number one, we're in an election year. That always tends to kind of breed some interesting reactions. But perhaps more importantly, and the thing you might have read about in the news, is we have some rather dramatic shifts in terms of how buyers work with agents who are representing buyers. There are a number of industry changes, and a lot of people think that there's going to be a little bit of a period of adjustment. Finally, we also have what I think has been forgotten the last few years, but has become more prevalent, and that is talking about that sort of August slump that is very common in California. It is a combination of that end of the vacation season and beginning of school. People's minds are everywhere but on buying a new home, and it is typically a slow period, especially pre-pandemic. It was the same every year. So what's really going on? Are we seeing an actual reduction in demand because payments are hitting a ceiling and a limit and consumers can't take anymore? Or are we seeing a confluence of some of these other temporary events that are conspiring to create kind of some very favorable buyer's market statistics and figures, at least for right now? Let's jump into the stats and see if we can find an actual answer to our question. So we're going to go back here, and first off, let's talk about prices. Now, unfortunately, prices are taking a look in that rear view mirror, and the rear view mirror says things are pretty much just steady, maybe up slightly. I don't know if that's an accurate representation. We're talking about effects over the last 2 weeks. Talking about closed prices, which is looking back 4 to 6 weeks, doesn't really help us. Now, if we look at our total monthly payment, this is some really good news, right? If you're on the affordability side of things, we're showing the payment on our entry-level single-family home is at $63.29. That is based on 5% down, includes mortgage, insurance, taxes, etc. And that's in LA and Orange counties. That is really a relative low point, right? Like, I mean, we haven't seen a point that low, actually, not since earlier this spring, right? Down here in this area around that April timeframe. So from an affordability standpoint, that number is actually looking pretty good. We see kind of a similar story here with our entry-level condo. By the way, this is Los Angeles and Orange County. So on the affordability front, things are actually looking a bit better for first-time home buyers. Now, if we look at our minimum household income, again, we see kind of some favorable numbers dropping down to about $155,000. We have to go way back, right? We have to go back to the spring to see another low point similar to that. And really, to see regular payments in that zone, I mean, gosh, we're going back into 2023 when that was the normal. Now, if we look at our absorption rate, though, that tells an interesting story that says softening demand, right? So we can see it dropping over here down to 67% for both our entry-level home and our entry-level condo. 67%, I'd say, is in a balanced market territory. It's not really a strong buyer's or seller's market, but definitely a sign of some weakening demand from consumers. The question is why, and is it permanent or temporary? We look at our inventory. Our entry-level condos are holding steady, and shockingly, our entry-level single-family homes are the ones where inventory is growing. Now, the question is that because supply has gone up or is that because demand has dropped? I think this might be a clue that puts us into a little bit of that back to school end of summer vacation camp and explaining kind of some of this weakening demand, the fact that condos, which are traditionally not bought by families or not as frequently bought by families versus single family homes, are showing not the same increase in inventory. But if we look here at our 14 days still active, this shows kind of immediate market competitiveness. We definitely see a softening, right, of demand, both in our entry-level condos and our entry-level single-family homes. And in fact, for entry-level single-family home, you really need to go back to the beginning of this year or the end of last year to see a similar drop in consumer demand. This is a measurement of the homes that have just hit the market, how many of them are still active versus being taken off the market. And finally, right, we're going to take a look here at our weeks supply of homes. This is relative, right? This isn't just how many houses are on the market, but this is how many weeks would we have to work through the inventory if no new homes came on the market. The blue line is our entry-level single-family homes, and that jumped by, gosh, over 1.3 weeks, right? That's a pretty strong increase. We do see an increase here on our entry-level condos, but it is not as big of an increase, only jumping really 3/4 of a week or so. But this jump to 8 weeks, that is the most inventory we have seen really since January 1st, and not even towards the end of last year did we have that much relative inventory. So what does this mean? Who is the winners in this, right? Is this a situation where these are seasonal effects, these are time-based effects, and I think or are these things that are kind of a bit of a permanent shift in consumers? I think there is a little bit of both, and I'm going to tell you why. Even if this is just a seasonal shift, the fact is, since the pandemic, we haven't really seen the same level of seasonality that we've seen. So that alone kind of indicates maybe a little bit more of a normalized market. With that said, rates are absolutely down, right? And that definitely means more opportunities for buyers. I think once kind of the dust settles from some of these real estate commission and buyer's agreement changes, once we see that back to school, I think we're going to see a little bit of a rebound in that demand. The question is it going to be enough of a rebound that's going to counteract all those effects or not? You will have to stay tuned until our next update to see that. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you are someone who would like to become a homeowner, you want to have a plan, a strategy, you want to know what you're doing and make informed decisions, absolutely reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you again real soon.